Hail and welcome everyone to more Tales from the Mirror's Edge with your favorite mirror ghost, Bloody Mary here. I have more stories to share with you guys. I hope you're enjoying them because I love telling my experiences. The paranormal is something that has influenced me my entire life, and I love sharing my stories with you guys. So, I guess I will do one of probably my favorite stories to tell. This is about my grandmother's house. This one, her house was always very, very creepy. When they moved in, it was an abandoned farmhouse that my grandparents moved in and they fixed it up and made it livable again. Something dark was always on that property. I won't go into the story of how it got to be haunted or cursed or whatever. I'll save that for another video if you guys want to hear it. But my grandpa died when I was very young, maybe about 5 years old. And the thing that haunted their house out there made an appearance that day. Now, me and my mom are both very gifted as far as sensing and seeing spiritual beings, things, human and inhuman. I was at school. My brother was still a baby, so he went with them. He's far too young to remember this story, but I remember hearing Mom tell me about it years later. They got the news that morning after I had got on the bus that my grandfather had passed away. So they got into the car and drove to my grandma's house. When they got there, Grandpa's body was still laying on the couch where he had passed. The coroner hadn't got there yet. From what Mom said, Daddy was down there beside the body. Everyone's upset, Death is there's a lot of emotions that run through a person at the moment of death and of the people that loved the person that died. I fully believe that when someone passes over, a portal gets punched in this world for the guardian angel or the angel of death or whatever it is that comes and escorts our souls to the other side. It makes a doorway for itself to come through to collect those souls. And unless you deliberately close that doorway afterwards, it remains open. And things that are maybe not so friendly can wander into our world. And evil things like what was in that house can manipulate and use these energies that are now wandering through this open portal to give itself power. Mom said that she was looking down at Dad over there with the body. The living room was kind of weird. Where Grandma's chair sat, it was her chair here, then the couch here coming off of it like that, and there was a window from the living room into the kitchen. Mom said she felt like something was staring at her. and she looked up from my dad and my grandpa and looked through that window into the kitchen. What she saw staring back at her, she said, absolutely stunned her. This thing was about maybe 3.5 feet tall. It floated about 6 inches off the ground. And what it looked like was a black hood. The hood came down, like it was pointed in the back. It came down like this around its face. It had shoulders, and then the shoulders just dropped straight down like it was wearing a cloak. This thing had no arms. It had no legs, no feet. It also had no face. It was just like, imagine those, those Halloween costumes with the hood and the cloak and the blackout mask that hides your face completely. Like, if you would have taken one of those and like maybe put it on a dummy, it had no features. And like I said, it floated about 6 inches off the ground. No arms, no legs, no nothing. She said that this thing stared directly at her for about maybe 10 seconds. Then the whole thing, just the whole entire thing, turned like this, floated off through the kitchen doorway into the dining room. It never moved its head. The cloak itself never moved. The whole thing turned in one motion and floated off. She took a step back out of the living room to see into the dining room to see where this thing had gone. And it was gone. It was almost like it wanted her to see it, because it deliberately sat there long enough that she stared into this thing where its face should have been and locked eyes with it for about 10 seconds. That's the first time it was seen in that house. I don't know what these little hooded shadow things are. I don't know if they're demons. I don't know if it's an elemental. I don't know exactly what they are, but I know they are not friendly. They are very evil. And they feed off negativity. Any kind of negativity. Fear, anger, sorrow, all of it. It feeds them. The next time that it was spotted was by my dad. He was over there. My uncle had moved back in with Grandma, and they were, I don't remember, Mom said they were over there fighting about something, like they always did. And mid-fight, Daddy goes to go sit in the dining room at the table, and from the dining room is the hallway that goes back to the bedrooms. He said before he could get to the dining room table, he saw a little 3-foot tall hooded thing with no face floating off the ground. He said it was just a split second, like blink and you'll miss it kind of deal. When he saw it, he said it was kind of brown and muddy looking. I think since there was so much anger and fighting and whatever going on in there, it probably was either trying to manifest or it had already manifested and was trying to skip out and not be seen. I don't think it meant to be seen that day, because it was just a very brief glimpse and it was gone. The next time this thing was spotted was by myself. Now, in 2007, and going into 2008, our house burnt completely to the ground, and we were living in a small rental house until the insurance company got squared away with their investigation, so we could start the process of rebuilding our home. Now, Mom and Dad, it was summer. We weren't in school. Mom and Dad were going to meet with the insurance people. I think they were finally ready to start the process of buying furniture and stuff like that, and picking out things and getting supplies to start the rebuilding process. I can't remember exactly what they were going to do. It was something to do with rebuilding the house. But anyway, me and my brother, they didn't want to take us along because we would get bored and we'd probably end up fighting, if I'm honest. They left us at Grandma's house. I remember that when we got over there, my uncle's ex-wife, I don't know what was going on, but just from what I overheard, there was some kind of argument going on over custody of the kids. Like he wanted to come see them or something, I don't know. Either way, they were fighting. My uncle was mad. I still call her my aunt. She was upset. She was on the phone with him when we got there. He hung up. He was mad. And Grandma was just egging it on, of course. And, of course, me and my brother, we had just lost our home and everything we owned. So we were still upset. And I remember we were in the living room watching TV. From the living room doorway, the hallway that would loop through the house, it was kind of weird. The hallway started in the dining room, made a half circle, and came out the other side directly in front of the living room doorway. So, if you guys hear that rustling, whatever noise, that's my cats playing in a box. So, sorry if you can hear that. But, I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and I just had the urge to look down the hallway. I don't know what made me look down the hallway, but I just kind of felt that sensation of look. So I turned my head and looked down the hallway. At the end of the hallway, there was a big full-length mirror that stood there beside a chest of drawers. What I saw was, once again, the little 3-foot-tall, solid black, hooded being floating about 6 inches off the ground. It was going from the direction of my grandma's room down the hallway heading towards my uncle's room. And it was just a quick flash. I mean, it was maybe no more than a second. As soon as I looked at it, there was a bright flash of light, and it was gone. almost like a camera flash, like boom, and it was gone. But I recognized it as soon as I saw it. Because hearing the stories from my parents, I knew what it was. It was that little hooded shadow thing. I don't think it meant to be spotted that day because it disappeared so fast. I think it was drawing off the energy of the fighting that was going on, and it just happened to get caught on the way through the house. My cats are being heathens, so I apologize for that. But that was I think that was the last time it was spotted with the naked eye. There were other sightings of this thing, though. Since Grandma's house was kind of out in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, they decided to install some security cameras around the house to watch the front and the back door, and just to make sure, nobody's wanting to creep up on you out in the middle of nowhere. And there was quite a few times where it'd be like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and my uncle would call and ask Daddy, "We seen you on the security cameras standing on the back porch. Why didn't you come in? Why did you just come out here to stand on the porch and leave?" He's like, "I haven't been to your house. I haven't been there at all today." And that happened a couple times. They would see, it looked like the black outline of a man by the back door, walking around the house, walking around on the porch. But the security cameras, this was back in the day where cameras were not good. It was very grainy. You couldn't make out any features. But yeah, he would call and ask him, like, "Why didn't you come in? Why were you just standing there?" Dad's like, "I haven't been out there today." He's like, "I got home from work, took a shower, and I'm sitting on the couch right now. So I don't know what you're talking about." But it was spotted a few different times on the security cameras. Something taking on the shape of a man. I don't know what it was. Whatever that thing is still out there to this day. I'm fully convinced of that. I don't think it'll ever leave, just because of the circumstances that I think brought it there, and the fact that it's been there for so long. I don't think it's going anywhere. So, Grandma's house has always been a very scary place. And it still is, if we're honest with each other. So, I'm gonna wrap it up. I've been talking for almost 20 minutes now. I'm sure you guys don't want to hang around anymore. This will be good for the video for now. So, if you're liking these stories, please stick around. There will be more to come. And remember, avoid looking into the mirrors in the darkness, because you never know what's looking back at you. Stay spooky.